Hello and welcome to Who We Eat, an official Doctor Who watch along podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Cameron. I'm joined with my co-host Ben. Say hello, Ben.
Hello, Ben.
But today we're not going to be talking about Doctor Who episode. Today we're going to be talking about Severance because we already did an episode of Severance and Severance just ended, and the whole world is kind of talking about Severance right now because it's just a great show. And we're gonna talk about Severance season 2 finale anyways. So why not just record an episode about it? Maybe someone's gonna listen to this
At least one person.
and they're gonna be like, "Wow, these guys don't know what the Severance means to me."
It means a lot to me. I don't know about you, Cam.
You're gonna have to cancel that. Sorry, man. Making more work for you.
You gotta wait.
I know.
I want to say so bad, but you just gotta wait.
But anyways, today we're not going to be talking about swear words. Today we're talking about Severance, like I just mentioned beforehand. I don't know why I repeated that again, but I guess segue.
I don't want to go in order. I don't know about you, Cam.
No, so we're not going to do like an episode by episode thing because, yeah, you kind of want us to talk about the finale.
This is Cold Harbor. This is the Cold Harbor episode.
Yeah, I think just to get it out of my system, we left off with episode 7, I believe.
6.
That's how it's 6. That's where we didn't know this, but that's kind of where the season paused for 2 episodes.
Kinda.
The first episode, episode 7, beautiful episode,
Absolutely.
where we learn more about Gemma. But then we get the next episode, episode 8, where we learn more about Miss Cabell.
Who is the creator of Severance?
And I feel like that kind of hurt the pacing of this season. I feel like by that episode, I kind of having those 2 back-to-back episodes of not being with the Severance crew, it kind of hurt the pacing and kind of made me just go, "Oh, but I want more of, like, Milchick. I want more of Irving. I want more of just Mock." Like, you leave us on episode 6 of that cliffhanger of what is it called?
Reintegrated?
Reintegrated, and you kinda want more you want more of that, but then just having 2 episodes after that of spin-offs or just side characters kinda hurt the pacing for me at least, and I think for a lot of viewers.
Yeah.
I wish it was maybe they did a different organization of the season, maybe did the Cabell one, episode 3. It would have maybe made a little bit more sense.
Yeah. If we saw that as, she was driving off into the sunset.
Yeah. Or cut back to that once in a while. It's just like having it just be a dedicated episode was kind of rough for pacing wise. But then we got back to it with episode 9, which episode 9 was, of course, just a setup for episode 10.
Yeah, Irving leading, Dylan trying to commit suicide.
Yeah. Because he's not in Code Harbor, just mentioning real quick, what did you are you kind of disappointed that we didn't get more Irving in episode 10 Code Harbor?
Little bit, but I'm assuming he'll come back into play for season 3.
I'm worried a little bit that like maybe that is going to be the end of that just because John Turturro is a busy actor. He has a lot of work to do. I don't know if maybe they did that just in case for episode season 3 they couldn't get him, then the show wouldn't be ruined. I'm kind of scared about that.
But there's so much more to say, I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like, with Irving. Like, I'm seeing the abbreviation a lot, so I'm just gonna say it like O Irving and I Irving, O Mark and I Mark. O Irving is doing some like sleuth stuff,
Mhm.
investigating Lumen. He's was talking to someone on the payphone. Who was he talking to? We don't know all that stuff. Is he trying to like figure out Lumen's deal from the inside? How does he know about the evil elevator?
Mhm.
Because like that's not something that I Irving would have ever seen.
Yeah.
That's not a memory slipping through. That's something that O Irving somehow knows about and dreams about or something. I don't know.
And then also just I would say the big thing also is this. I feel like there's more to Bird and Irving's relationship that they had that ending, but like you could imagine them having more on top of that ending.
Yeah, it kind of comes full circle, with Irving saying, I'm ready, when, their kind of most romantic moment before Bert retired was, Irving was saying, I'm not ready. So that kind of comes full circle. I could see it being the end of that, but I don't know. It still feels like there could be more.
Yeah. But also again, I don't know. We don't know how long season 3 is gonna take. Christopher Walken is not getting younger.
God, I hope it doesn't take long.
Like But you know what I'm saying though, Christopher Walken might not be able to do more of the show, and I'd rather them just end Bert's storyline there than
If we
having.
don't get Bert, hopefully it's Fields.
But you know what I'm saying. I wouldn't want more. I don't want them to recast him. That's Christopher Walken right there. But yeah, just to get right into it, episode 10. That's the one that we're gonna have to talk about the most because of course it ends with episode 9 ends with actually 8 ends with it, but then we get more of 9 of.
Cam, can we just talk about it? Has it been
But like no, let's just we're gonna start in order, man. We're not gonna go right to the
I
end.
can't that's where all my thoughts are right now, though.
But let me just get to the let's just start off with the beginning of the episode and let's work our way because we have to do it. This is one of those episodes. This is one of those things we have to do in order, and then we
Uh,
can get there, man. It's gonna be satisfying to get there. But again, episode 8 ends with Cobell, and Cobell is gonna help Mock Outie Mock, right?
yeah.
Which, how did you feel about that? Did you feel like there was stupid idea? Do you think that was a smart idea on Mock and his sister's part?
I don't know. I don't know how much knowledge
Yeah,
that Cobell is bringing to the table other than, she was able to get him into the birthing cabins so that, Omar and Imar can get kind of on the same page.
because when that first happened, the Reddit page was like, "Oh, this is so fucking dumb. Like, why would they do that? She's evil."
Like, oh, yeah, she definitely has her own agenda.
Yeah.
Maybe like getting back at Lumen because at the end of episode 8, she's feeling really cheated of the credit and success that she could have had if
Oh yeah.
is it James Egan John
I
something
think
like
it's James Egan.
if he did not take the credit for the severance procedure and maybe she wants to have some revenge, expose. But she's definitely not a wholehearted ally.
Yeah. But like, of course, that relationship ends with, like you said, they go to the birthing cabin, and then episode 10 starts off, of course, with the first time that we got to experience an Indian and Audi talking together with the camcorder, which was such a great scene.
Oh yeah, the parallels of like one of them sitting on the left side, one of them sitting on the right, back
Yeah.
and forth.
And Adam Scott's such a great actor because he really gives both of them different characters. Basically, you can really tell that like he's not just playing the same character; they're completely separate with the way that he gives the performance.
Yeah, I don't think I can do this beat by beat because I want to talk about the ending, of course,
Yeah,
but the whole kind of thesis of this is the disconnect between how Omar sees Imark and how Imark sees Omar. There's a kind of infantilization of Imark on Omar's account. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I heard you got like a girlfriend, and just think about that and think about how much more Gemma means to me."
yeah.
And like really kind of talking down to him and Imark is not appreciative of that.
But of course, that's also the name wrong,
Helena E.
which is also a parallel to when Helena got Box Adi's Gemma's name wrong in the Chinese food restaurant.
hmm and then Imark doesn't trust Omar. Imark says he's gonna finish reintegration through the end, but that hybrid person that's created is probably gonna be mostly Omar.
Definitely makes sense.
And the sacrifice that is being asked of him. What is important to them is very different. I'm having very complex thoughts that I'm having difficulty distilling down into audible words. Maybe you can help me out. What are your thoughts?
No, it's one of the things that this episode does so well throughout the whole entirety of it. Like, of course, it's very much in that ending of just you really care about both Innie and Outie Mock's characters.
Yeah, they're both people that deserve to exist and be happy and be loved.
Yeah, yeah. Like not to get too much into the ending, but you want Mock to go with Gemma as much as you want Mock to go with Helia at that end point. It's incredible.
I this is getting so off topic, but if you look at like the openings to the show,
Yeah.
there's kind of more of a literal representation of them as two different people in two different bodies. And I almost hope that someday in the future, somehow they both can have their own body
Yeah.
and both are able to live full lives.
I don't know.
Because it's unclear how much, like Severance. At first, I thought it was like maybe it's like left brain and right brain, and it just switches the consciousnesses back and forth. But if Gemma is able to have, 25 plus, then there's something else going on. Where is the consciousness of Innie Mark stored? Is it in the chip? Is it in his brain? I don't know. Could they extract the chip and put it in a robot and have any mark exist?
Put it into the cloud. They're just in the they're in the cloud, just
No, I don't want
living
them in
their
the
life.
cloud. I want them in the real world. I want them to see the sky and the trees and the birds.
They're in the cloud and it's just MDR. It's just season one. It's just like they're just at their cubicles, just
No,
no change in life. Because that's the only world they know, Ben.
they deserve so much more.
But like that scene is great, and then especially at the end point where Cobell has to speak to Outie Mock, and like it really is just a great moment. And then when he finally does get there, there's a great suspense of just like, all right, what's gonna happen when he finally does complete Code Harbor?
Yeah,
And then at the same time, you have the end of Dylan's storyline for the season. Well, I shouldn't say end, but like the end of his Outie and Innie's character dynamics of he gets a rejection, and it's a very sweet moment of that you really feel both for both. Again, you feel really for both of the characters that like especially at the end note where he's just like, I hope one day that I get to be like the self-assured badass that you are down there, that she'll see that what she sees in you and me. It's very like you feel it from both perspectives, and it's really heartbreaking from both.
absolutely. And then he gets to go save the day and be a badass and say, "Fuck you, Mr. Milchek."
I hope every season finale ends with him saying that.
Oh, one can hope.
And then, but of course, also in that moment, we get the great. Already getting memed of just Milchick runs out of it the fastest he possibly can because he has to get dressed. He's got to get prepared for the little speech with the Kier statue, and also has to get prepared for fucking marching band. So like,
Oh, that whole scene. I saw on like Twitter, someone was saying, "Wait a minute, I recognize that guy. He was in the marching band at my high school." So like, this wasn't something that came out of left field. This I don't know the actor's name, but he like it's a thing, and he was clearly having a good time.
oh yeah,
Very. It's like the like dancing in season one, but like
yeah.
brought up to an 11.
They did some event the other day of some like festival. And I don't know if you saw the clip of it, but he came in with the marching band, and it's so cool. And somebody was like, "Please have this be at the Emmys." That Milchick's actor coming out with the marching band. That's what we need in the world.
That would be awesome.
But no, that whole sequence is just fantastic, along with like the him with the Cure statue, really just getting more into that whole Milchick's arc this season.
Yeah, he's feeling more and more discontentment
Yeah,
with Lumen between like the paintings and, his interactions with Drummond.
yeah. We're gonna get some results of that in season three. Of just like that's gonna really when it's gonna come to set the center of the story, because it's not like we see the results of that this episode. He kind of is still fully on board with Lumen trying to get out of the bathroom.
Yeah. The only kind of hint we see is in episode 9 with the phone call with Omar, where he's, which that's a great moment too, where he's kind of like, I don't know, almost how would you describe that? Like what Mark says to him about work-life balance. It is just work.
Yeah.
That really hits home for him, and he's like, "Do you promise to come in tomorrow?" Okay.
Again, there's gonna be some shit that's gonna happen in season three where this is all gonna come to the center of the story.
I could see Milchek being a ally in the future.
because like it's a satisfying setup this whole season for it to happen. Like you're not gonna, it wouldn't be like a dumb thing of being like, oh, that's so dumb. That came out of nowhere. It's like, no, that did not come out of nowhere. They set that up the whole season too. But that sequence is just great, and especially when he's talking to the Kier statue, just being like, "Yeah, it's just like you were 5 inches shorter in real life."
It's like, thank you, Seth.
It's great. But then, of course, Mock runs away, and then Hully takes his radio and locks him in the bathroom with the vending machine. And well, not with the vending machine. Then Dylan comes with the vending machine and locks him in,
Oh
which
yeah,
is great. And the marching band just still keeps on playing. They don't stop.
not till the end.
One of the complaints I've been seeing people been saying about this episode, I don't know how you feel about it, but basically they criticize the show of having not a lot of security. Lumen is pretty lack on security.
Yeah, there's just the one guy.
One guy take care of security, even at the last time.
I think it's a combination of underestimating the innies once again and compartmentalization. I think it's a skeleton crew on purpose. The work is secret and important.
They have 20 people in the marching band almost. They have a whole department.
True. Oh yeah. What do you think of the newest department? Choreography and merriment.
You tell me one or two of those people couldn't be more security for these fuckers? No, we need you to play the tuba. And like I saw somebody tweet out, just like, fuck, their whole life is just band rehearsal.
I mean, but we get the answer that like the dancers in the waffle party, they were definitely from those
Yeah.
those guys.
But what else do they do all day?
They practice.
Your life is this tuba. Enjoy it. Master it. Take pride in it.
And, there's probably I mean, maybe the, like the records from their celebrations, maybe they recorded those.
Maybe.
It's in-house Lumen-made music by the Severed for the Severed.
But also in another perspective, so if you have this whole department that can play these fucking music, why don't you just bring them out?
No, I bet that's what I just said, I bet that's definitely it, you
Yeah,
know? Like, O&D makes the decorations for the hallway. They make
all the
the
music.
music for the parties. I'm sure there's another department that grows the fruit, grows the melons.
Probably.
There's probably either a subsection or a completely different department that raises chickens for the, egg buffet.
I want to know. Do you think the plumbers, and just like the cleaning staff, do you think they are severed too, or do you think those are some of those people that are just off hours? That are just, I guess they would have to be kind of severed, right? Is there a night shift severed people? Do you think?
I mean, is there cleaning staff?
You would have to have cleaning staff, Ben.
Because I mean, like
What happens if the toilet clogs? Is it Milchick? Is Milchick clogging the fucking toilet?
no, it would be one of them. Like, we've seen mostly in season 1, like there's chores that need to be done every day.
Yeah,
I gotta refill the paper towel dispenser, get more soap.
I guess. But yeah, so basically what happens is Mock gets away, they lock Milchick in the bathroom. And Mock, of course, runs to the elevator. We set up that the baby goat is leaving. And we also see Drummond go into this other room. So we kind of know that okay, Mock is going to the elevator, but also Drummond is there as well. And then we get the baby goat, and we get the explanations for the goats that they use them for sacrifices for when they complete the whatever the basement floor is.
Maybe the wording of Drummond is made it seem like maybe like whenever because it was specifically the goat was to die to guide the goat's soul or whatever is to guide someone to Kier.
Oh fuck, do they do it when like somebody retires too? Like when Bert retired?
I think the plan was that goat was to guide Gemma when she would have died after the completion of the Cold Harbor
Yeah.
thing, guide her to Kier as a weird religious ritual thing.
Because Gwendolyn Christie does say that, like, not again.
Oh, yeah, this has happened many times.
So more, and this episode does a great job of answering a lot of questions, but also like we've been talking about, like there's still enough questions there to be answered, which is what's so great about this episode is that it is satisfying to reveal some of these answers that we've been having, especially I imagine for the people that watched it from the beginning to be like, okay, we finally got what the fucking baby goats are.
Yeah. Also puts was much more meaning to they're not ready
Yeah,
in season 1.
but also I feel like in some ways this scene got hurt, in my opinion. So basically, Mott gets to the elevator, Drummond comes out like we already kind of expected. And then they have the fight. And the whole entire time, I thought the fight was a little bit ruined just because you kind of know that Gwendolyn's going to come out with that fucking gun and shoot Drummond.
Wait, but she doesn't.
But then of course, she doesn't. But you kind of know Gwendolyn is in there with the fucking gun.
Yeah, I mean, you know that she's not gonna go through with it.
And then not going to kill a fucking baby goat because that baby goat's too adorable.
Hey, he has a name. It's
Oh, yeah,
Emile.
a male. Gwendolyn comes in, of course, Gwendolyn in the Drummond fight, which is like you haven't seen Game of Thrones, but like of course famous for fighting big men in Game of Thrones. So it was very satisfying to see that again. We get Drummond and Mock go in the elevator. Mock has the gun pointed at Drummond. Of course, when he transitions to being in Outie Mock is when he pulls the trigger.
I mean, it wasn't intentional. It was
No,
just
no, no,
like,
no.
you know, like your
Instincts.
pupils dilate, your muscles kind of contract, and his finger was on the trigger when that happened.
Did you laugh?
No.
Really?
I mean, I don't know. There are aspects of humor to it, but it was a lot of blood.
I thought it was hilarious. I was laughing the whole time. And like of course Severance not a show that uses blood at all. So it's very much like when they use that much blood, you really feel it.
Yeah. I did laugh, when he was threatening the woman with the unloaded gun. It's like, "Fuck you. Open the damn door," or
Yeah.
whatever it was. "Oh, fuck you."
But then of course then she finally sees Gemma, which I thought that was really smart to get around the I wonder how long they took them in the writers' room to figure out like, all right, we need he needs to get in the door, but the only way to get in the door is blood some type of bio lock. Well, now what if he then shoots Drummond, gets the blood on him, and then uses that blood to get in the thing? Like that's pretty clever.
Mhm.
Of explanation of like why was he able to get in that locked door? Well, that's why. But then of course we get that finally that moment, and it's a great reveal of just we kind of got it hinted at in the moment of the Chinese food restaurant where there was definitely something there of like that love connection that Helena and Mark have, or sorry, Heliar and Mark have, still existed somewhere in that relationship in the Chinese food restaurant with the two Audis. There was some the flirtatious element to it that still
Yeah.
existed. And then this kind of sets up, not sets up, but this kind of establishes that love does still exist even when someone is severed.
Yeah. Where Gemma, who is an empty husk
Yeah.
born a few minutes ago, isn't speaking, isn't emoting, still takes his hand and walks out the door.
And then of course Miss Casey also trusts him and takes his hand and then just doesn't question Mock at all.
I mean, he does question and say, "What's happening?" And he says, "Let's go."
Not that much. But it was such a satisfying moment. Were you cheering, Ben?
Yeah, when she walks through the door and they
Yeah.
embrace, after all these years, after all these episodes, finally seeing each other once again.
It was really satisfying as a viewer. It's one of those moments in just TV that makes you go like TV being a long format. You wouldn't get that type of satisfaction in a movie just because it's a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. Like, finally, they did it.
Spending all these hours with these characters, you really do feel that satisfaction of just fuck yeah, they did it. And then they get on the elevator and they leave, and then like the episode's about to end, and he finally gets to the elevator, and you're like, fuck yeah. But then he doesn't go in the sorry, he gets Gemma out of the door, but then doesn't fucking go in the door with him, doesn't go in the door with her. And of course, Helia goes in behind him. And he has that moment where he has to think of, do I choose my Audi's lover or do I choose my lover? And of course, he has to choose his lover. And like, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but like, or Reddit, it's just like, it's just perfectly timed where when he makes the decision, there's red on Helia. So like it's like, it symbolizes like love. It's perfect.
Damn. That lasts like 60 seconds to 2 minutes. Both some of the greatest television, but also kind of infuriating. Cause like, what the
Yeah.
fuck, Mark?
But also, as if you
But
also kind of
also
you want that. You want Heliar and Mock to be together.
it's so conflicting. They both all 3 of them, or all 4 of them deserve love, and it has to be mutually exclusive at this point in the story. It's so tragic.
And of course, there's also that tragic element in it as well, as that Gemma doesn't know that Mock is severed.
Uh, I mean, she is understanding that there's something more going on, I'm sure. He's not I'm sure she doesn't think that like, "Oh yeah, now he's just saying, 'Fuck you, Gemma. I'm going off with my mistress.'" I don't
But you know what I mean, though, is that like she doesn't know at the end of the day that he's severed. We as an audience know, but she doesn't. She's like, why aren't you fucking coming with me? You saved me.
I think she understands on some level.
I disagree because she's screaming at him. She's like, Mark, what the fuck? Come, open the door, get in, come with me. She's so confused by it, which of course you would be, because you're like, like she only like she has no idea that Mark was above her this whole entire time.
True.
She's just like, what the fuck? You saved me, and now you don't want to be with me. You're gonna choose her instead. It's so good. I was screaming. I think everyone was probably screaming.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm kind of sad that like I would imagine like in a couple scenarios where like I think like people talk about like in New York. Not to, I don't know. I'm not gonna spoil it because I don't think you probably don't even know about it. But Sopranos ending, right? One of the most iconic endings of all time of a TV show.
I know nothing about The Sopranos other than Gabagool.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but like that end note, it's a very iconic end note.
Also, I think there was a spoiler in like
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I forget what it was. Someone dying.
The end note of Sopranos. Famously, people were like in apartment complexes. Everybody in the apartment complex, you could hear everyone screaming in the apartment complexes because everyone was like, "Fuck no! What the fuck?" Which I would imagine, like, of course, streaming doesn't exist in that, but I would imagine some group elements, like it would have been like everyone screaming. Like I like imagine that in like a theater watching that with other people. Like it would just the whole theater would just be like, "What the fuck?"
Tim Cook should have let them do a limited theatrical screening of Cold Harbor.
Oh yeah, like it definitely would have warranted it because like a theater reaction would have
That would have hit.
it would have. Because like even like that drum and death would have been like hilarious in a theater. Like there would have been enough people that would have been like, "Oh fuck," and then other people would have just been laughing. It would have been, oh my god, it would have been so good. And there would have been so many chairs that like the fuck you Milchek scene would have got chairs in a movie theater.
Oh yeah. No,
Um,
all we can do is try and vicariously get that through Twitter and Reddit.
yeah, but my god, that end note is so good.
That needle drop, the
Yeah,
freeze frame and the zoom in.
very much a Graduate ending. You haven't seen The Graduate, I would
No.
imagine. You really should watch The Graduate then.
I've
Watch
s
The Graduate.
I've seen clips of it, I think, because 'cause you've put it on when I'm in the room before.
Yeah, probably.
Like, there's, like, a dinner party or something.
It's very good, man. One of the greatest movies
Or
ever.
is it no, am I thinking of The Master?
Probably it's me and Ryan probably put on both of them multiple times.
No, I'm thinking of The Master. What's The Graduate?
That's Dustin Hoffman. That's the one with the "Hello, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus knows me more than you will know." Oh, oh, oh. Probably fucking fuck those lyrics up because I'm bad at lyrics.
Okay, yeah, no, I have not seen this.
You should, Ben. Really good. Really good movie.
5 stars on Letterboxd?
What?
I said you rated it 5 stars on
It's a
Letterboxd?
perfect movie, Ben. It's one of those perfect movies that's just perfect. But anyways, but like the ending of this is very much a Graduate ending. Of The Graduate has a famous ending of just like the characters being like, "What the fuck do we do?" Just like in that state of just fuck me.
Yeah.
And like this has that same ending of just like the two characters' faces. They both have that look of just what the fuck do we do? What are we gonna do?
Like, I have no idea where we're going. I don't know where we're running to. We're just running together and the time that we have.
It's so good. It's so emotionally satisfying. And I think I'm in the camp of I think that if some reason Tim Cook said, "I'm canceling Apple TV Plus, I'm not doing it anymore," We're losing $1 billion a year on it. We're not seeing the return on investment. We're canceling it. We're done. Netflix doesn't pick up Severance after that. Um, I think this would have been a satisfying ending of the show if we didn't get any more.
It would be an ending for sure. It would be like a Twin Peaks ending of like so much more left unsaid.
But this is a little bit more satisfying than the Twin Peaks season 2 ending, because that does leave off with the cliffhanger. This one at least had that one lives does leave off with an emotional cliffhanger. This doesn't. The emotions are there. We know what the emotions are in the scene. The cliffhanger is just what's going to come, which I think you could have ended that with interpretation. If they had to, I think it works like that.
What do you think season 3 is going to be?
I have no idea. Because like the status quo is fucked. Irving is gone. Now, like, what the fuck? Like, there's just so many questions just because like James Egan is not gonna allow them to be fucking still working at the company after this.
No. My theory, I think, Gemma's going to be fine. She's going to get out of there. I could see them just going on strike and not leaving work. Having the whole floor, unionized essentially, being at like mammalians nurturable, where there's that kind of anarchy, but also a sense of community.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know what they're gonna do for food. I don't know how long
Yeah.
that could last. Just whatever's in the vending machine.
There is some ways that like I think that's gonna be the first episode or two, but like also I think Severance is a clever enough show that they know that they can't do that for the whole season. That is 1 or 2 episodes.
You wouldn't want a whole season of just Imark.
They're not gonna be able to like, again, we're talking about this is a very clever show. Who would have predicted this was season 2?
I mean, but there's so many more questions about the severed floor
Yeah,
because it's almost like Euclidean geometry, and like there could be hundreds of departments.
yeah.
That like PD's map hasn't really come into play, and like
There was 3 other people there at on the bottom, so who else is on that like, those bottom floors doing, like, multiple severances?
so like Mark's macrodata refinement is explicitly said to be constructing any personalities for his wife Gemma in each of the rooms.
Yeah,
But what are the other people doing?
yeah. Especially Helena.
So we do know Helena, or Helly, I should say.
Yeah,
She, in season 1, the files that she was working on and she finished, and, at the end of the quarter was Sienna. We did see a room labeled Sienna in, Gemma's area. I don't know
interesting.
if that is, and Gemma did say she went to every room but Cold Harbor. I don't know if are the other 3, have they also been making Gemma any personalities? Or are they creating something for someone else?
Who knows?
And is it that Mark could only do Cold Harbor because how Cold Harbor is related to Gemma's infertility
Yeah.
and the struggles that the 2 of them went through?
Which, of course, like, I think a lot of people were under the impression that a reveal was gonna be that Helena was pregnant this
I mean, she
episode,
still could be.
just because, like, the infertility stuff has been set up, and as well as, like, he has had sex with her 2 times now, and at the same time, like, there's just stuff like the balloons, like, you could say the balloons are sperm, like, there is setups there that people on Twitter and Facebook, not Facebook, Twitter and Reddit, both been pretty much like on the same boat of like, no, there's definitely some pregnancy stuff going on here.
I mean, that could be part of season 3.
But we'll see what happens in season 3. But yeah, and I assume that Gemma, I hope that Gemma is going to be at least able to get out of Lumen. It's going to be not satisfying if they catch her like immediately after, because she's just in that fucking hallway. Like she still has a bunch of time to get up there, you know?
I mean, I'm assuming, I mean, I guess I don't really know. I've assumed the emergency exit, those stairs are outside.
Who knows? Because remember, in like the elevator, there's a security guy at that like the elevator.
I know, that's which is why I'm assuming they didn't go through the elevator. They went to the
Yeah.
stairs.
So yeah, we'll see. and then she's gonna go. Gemma's gonna go to Cabell, and they're gonna find a way to get Mock out of there with maybe Helena as well. But then Helena, I was just like Heliar, but then of course Helena's not gonna want to be with them. We'll see. So many questions. So many questions. We got so many questions answered, but so many questions are still present.
Do you think Helena will become a likable character? Because like the other three and their and outies are all likable and got stuff going on. Helena is, is only one of the eight that is like evil.
So like we have seen some parts of her character that's actually extremely sad with like her relationship with her father is
Yeah.
very dark and twisted. And like again, like she never had like a lover. That's like I feel like the her having sex with Adimok was not. I mean, sorry, Inimok was not really like as much of revenge for her Innie, but just more of just she was a little bit jealous of her Innie just because
Yeah,
she had
yeah,
that
no. She
relationship.
was definitely desiring that genuine connection to another human being.
Yeah,
Her father explicitly does not love her.
yeah, and just like that great scene also of
Oh,
just her
like the
just
egg.
no, but when he goes to Halia, just be like, I see Kira in you. And then she's like tells him to like fuck off and burn in hell, and he's like, there he is.
It's such a good show, Cam.
It is a very good show.
Are you glad you watched it?
I'm so glad. I'm kind of pissed because now it's like I have to wait probably 2 years, I'm imagining, for the next season.
Yeah, I hope it's like mid 2026. I have to believe that they're on it. There's no strikes, there's no pandemic.
They already announced, like, before even the season 3 was confirmed, they already announced the writers' room.
Yeah.
And, like, some people were nervous online that the writers' room was gonna be almost completely different. The Dan Erickson's still there, who's the showrunner, but, like, everyone else has basically changed.
I mean, that's kind of just what writing for TV is right now, though, right?
No, because like, there's some other shows that, like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are shows that, like, you will see that, like, those writers are pretty much, like, they wrote for their whole show.
They're not just contracted for an episode and then they say bye.
No, it's like those guys were just, like, there in the writers' room from season 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I mean, not 6, but well, 6 for Better Call Saul.
Mhm.
And then some of them, like Schnoz was there for Breaking Bad and Saul, and there was others too. Yeah, so it's kind of I haven't seen, like, each season has had now a different. Dan Erickson's the showrunner, but there's also, like, other showrunners that showrun it with him that are writers, but they have changed from season 1 to season 2 to now season 3, so there's now different perspectives, but I think is maybe part of the charm of the show is that they are able to bring new blood into it and new ideas, which is why it's constantly evolving and changing and still able to have that quality about to it. But I don't think we should be that scared just because I think Dan Erickson is there, who's the main guy, of course, and then Ben Stow's there. So it's just like if those two guys are there, then
I'm not worried.
they're gonna keep the show's quality. The only thing that I'm scared about is that towards the actual end of this series of like when all of the questions are revealed, if they do that, I hope that they leave some unanswered because I don't think that's satisfying to reveal every question.
So this is like the biggest show on Apple TV. Like it beat Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a danger of it going on too long?
I hope that it's just gonna be a series that's gonna we still but like it's gonna have at least multiple seasons. I don't think we had that much of a danger just because they ended Ted Lasso, but then they just announced that they bringing back Ted Lasso also.
Yeah.
They did like an ending of like it was like 3 or 4 seasons, and then they announced a new one too.
Yeah.
My hope is that it's kind of similar to a Breaking Bad situation where Breaking Bad had 5 seasons and they just ended it after that 5th season. I think when you go on more than 5 or 6 seasons, that's where it kinda you're getting those seasons where it's like, "Oh, that season wasn't a good season," or like, "Maybe that wasn't as good as the previous ones." I hope that it's just a consistently great seasons.
Yeah. I think I trust Ben Stiller at this point, but
And Dan Erickson.
I
Don't forget
see,
about Dan
yeah,
Erickson.
and Dan Erickson. I see a path where kind of like Stranger Things for Netflix that this is milked, where it's just it becomes the weird show that people like, and so they just keep doing it.
But I think Apple more than any of the streamers. They kind of took that old HBO.
Although it is more of a prestige TV, service over just like
That's what I was trying to say. Is just like they basically took that HBO model of like, no, we only are gonna do quality stuff. Like the best show on TV is gonna be on HBO, which it seems like Apple is trying to do more of that model instead of the model that's like we have the Netflix model, which is like we have a billion shows to watch. I think people have understood that that's not good just because the quality of those shows aren't going to be good. And then if you like one show, because there's so many of them, people aren't going to watch it, so they're not going to pick up for another season.
yep,
But like I said, I hope they're just going to let it go for like 4 or 5, 6 seasons, and then just know when to end it. Because this is definitely a show that needs a good strong ending.
absolutely.
But yeah, this has been. I can just wrap it up now. You good?
Uh,
Got out of your system?
I
Do you think I have any more?
I guess I feel like there's still more we could talk about, but I also feel like we're coming to a conclusion. Like, we didn't even talk about the tempers, didn't talk about the equator.
We already got like their relationship, how
Yeah,
fucking strong that is and how good it is. Okay, I'm just gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Who We Hoot and a Severance subs version. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't know. Join us next week while we go back to Doctor Who. I think next week will probably be Talons of Wing Chang, if I know correctly, Ben.
yeah, it should be Talents of Wing Chang.
So enjoy Talons of Wing Chang discussion next week on Who We Hoot. Same bad time, same bad channel. Remember to like and subscribe. Follow us on all the podcast platforms. Watch our shorts. And yeah, that's going to be it for today's episode.
Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Peace out, everyone.